Hello, everyone. I am Anastasia Lapteva, one of the student ambassadors in the Academy of Fine Arts. And today we are having admissions chat with two lovely students and an admission officer. So, yes, we are now in the Academy of Fine Arts Helsinki, in the photo studio, actually, very lovely space. And today we are gonna talk about admissions process, different things you need, and also about student experiences of both admissions and student life here in University of the Arts Helsinki and in Finland and Helsinki in general. So during the live, you can ask us any questions through Instagram chat and we will reply to them. And now we have to wait a few minutes for more people to join, but I think that we can slowly start with introductions now. As I already said, I'm Anastasia. I'm now graduating from Bachelors in printmaking, and then I'm continuing to the Masters here, also in printmaking. Yes, and I do really various art practice. Yes. So now I would let our participants introduce themselves. If you want to start.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Fatih. I'm third year bachelor student and my study area is sculpture. But in my artistic practices, I do sculptures, installations and performances and everything around this and that. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Snowdrop. I'm a first year student and we just chose a department. So I chose time and space and I make conceptual multimedia works. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, hello. My name is Antti Lehtinen and I work in the academic office of the Academy of Fine Arts. And I'm an officer who is responsible for student admissions, and that's why I'm here in this Instagram broadcast.
Yeah, lovely to have you here. So first I want to ask from both of you, where do you come from and why did you choose the department you're studying in?
Well, I'm from Nigeria and I chose time and space because for time and space, it's not material focused, I would say, but I do work a lot with materials, but I like the fact that because in my work there's always a conceptual basis and I really enjoy that. So I chose time and space because I feel like it's a setting to help me develop that further, and also because I use a lot of moving image practices and site and situation specific practices, which is something that's focused on time and space, and I want to learn about sound. So time and space is basically the place for me, and I feel like it will also allow me to just branch out into the other departments and do whatever I want to do.
For our viewers, I want to quickly say that in the Academy of Fine Arts we have 4 departments. So it's painting, printmaking, sculpture, and time and space. So, yes.
Yeah, now as I said already, I'm a sculpture department student, but actually I spent 1 semester in time and space. I think like from the personal experience, it was a bit difficult for me to choose because like I was okay. The academy has some departments. It's not about fine arts. I mean, in general. Okay, I have to choose, and maybe I didn't know very much, even though I tried to explore. I didn't understand fully what kind of like specific courses or studies I will get when I choose like this or that department. So yeah, but I mainly work I don't know. As I said, in between these, like even site-specific art, I really appreciate and like that, and sometimes I do that, and installation. So it kind of belongs to time and space, and also performances, definitely time and space. But not only that, sculptures and like practices with working with materials with my hands, I do that a lot, and I found myself really that is kind of hard for me to sit in front of the computer, so I don't have any inspiration there, so an energy, and I found that like in full, like in sculpture, because I really enjoy working with materials.
I think it's really lovely that you get to explore different materials and techniques even just in one department.
Yeah,
And
and also I think like maybe it's very important to add that when we're choosing the department, it doesn't mean that you stick there, but we are kind of like getting courses from different departments, but maybe we're kind of focusing on major studies, and then we add something. For example, I always take the courses from time and space about performances. So yeah.
yeah, it's really nice that the studies are so versatile here. And also, from my experience, even though you choose one department, first of all, you can quite easily change it throughout your studies, and then that department doesn't necessarily limit you by what you're doing. I think it's really lovely. Yes, but now probably more people are watching us, and I would like to ask some questions from Antti about more like practical side of applying to the Academy of Fine Arts. And my first question is, there are multiple programs that are now accepting students. So what are exactly those programs?
Yeah, we have actually 3 programs that are accepting students next year or next spring. We are talking here today about the Bachelors and Masters program in Fine Arts, which is a program that is available in Finnish, Swedish and English, so applicants can apply in any of those languages. And it's like a multi-language group. So there are Finnish students and students from abroad. And then we have 2 other programs that are open. They are more theoretically oriented. One of them is Praxis, the master's program in curating and writing in contemporary art. That's a program that we have renewed for this round of admissions. And from now on, it'll be open for applications every January. And then the other program is Bachelor's program in contemporary art, history and theory. And this is a program that is available only in Finnish.
Yeah, and I'm wondering who can apply for these programs, because of course there are 2 bachelor programs and then 1 master's. So what are the requirements for both of them?
Yeah, for the combined bachelor's and master's program in fine arts, well, first of all, you should be interested in fine arts and want to have a career in fine arts. But the practical matters are concerning background education and language skills. And for background education, the basic principle is that the applicant must have completed their secondary education. And for applicants whose educational background is not in Finland, the exact clause is that they must have completed a qualification abroad, which in the awarding country gives eligibility for the corresponding studies. So if you study, for example, in France, and your education gives you eligibility to apply to similar university studies in France, then you are also eligible to apply to us. And then there are 2 points that I'd like to make. First of all is, if your case is that you are going to graduate next spring but have not yet graduated before the end of the application period, you can still apply as long as you graduate by July 10th. That's our deadline for conditionally accepted applicants to submit their degree certificate. And then the other point is that you can also apply even if you have not completed your secondary education. There's sort of a clause we call other eligibility, and that means that the applicant can be deemed eligible to apply if the admissions jury deems that they have sufficient skills to complete the degree. And all of these are explained in the admissions guide, which is available on our website. So I won't be telling any secrets or anything like that. Everything is available online. So yeah, every applicant should check it out if they have not yet done it.
Yes, so please check out uniarts.fi webpage. The information is there in 3 languages, and it provides you with a really clear outline of what you have to do.
Can I still say something about the language proficiency requirements?
Of course, that was my
Yes.
next question.
Yeah. So all our applicants need to demonstrate their language proficiency. As I said, applicants can apply in Finnish, Swedish, or English. And I could divide the options that are available to applicants into 2 categories. And once again, these are available online in the admissions guide. And the first option is to do an international language skills test. And the accepted tests and the score requirements are on our webpage. Just if someone is planning to apply, then they should just check which tests we accept and the scores, and then just register for a test. And the other option is to demonstrate language proficiency with prior studies. However, there are some limitations. Not just any studies won't be accepted. And for the studies, the requirement is that the entire degree must be completed in English. So it's not sufficient if someone has just had English as a subject. So the entire degree must be completed in English. And then there are some restrictions on where the degree is completed. It has to be in, well, there are some restrictions like areal restrictions or country restrictions. And once again, if the applicant has not yet finished their degree, they can still apply as long as it will be finished by the July 10th.
Yeah, that was actually my case when I was applying to this school. So I was just about to graduate high school, but I got in and I was conditionally eligible, and then I provided all the needed documents and officially got in during the summer.
Yeah, we want to give the chance for those applicants who will graduate next spring to apply.
Yeah. And then could you run us through approximate schedule of the admission process, like when are the deadlines, when is the time to apply, and are there like any steps in the admission process?
Yeah, of course. Well, the first step anyone interested in applying should do is to check the admission guide and maybe ask questions if they have. Now would be a good point to do so. The application period is in January. It begins on the January 8th, and it's a 2-week application period, and therefore it ends on the 22nd of January at 3 p.m. Finnish time. And all our deadlines are 3 p.m. and Finnish time. Mm-hmm. And then after the application period, all applicants have 1 week to submit any attachments required in the application. So that means certificate of background education, certificate of language proficiency, and then first phase application materials that are a portfolio and a motivation letter. So the deadline for them is January 29th at 3 p.m. Finnish time. And after the application period and the deadline for submitting the attachments, me and my colleagues will complete an eligibility check for all applicants. So we check that they have submitted all the required documents needed from them. And then there is a first phase academic evaluation of applications. So our admissions jury will look at the portfolios and motivation letters. And based on the first phase assignments, some of the applicants will be invited to the second phase of the admissions procedure, that is an admission course in Helsinki, Finland. And the admission course will be held in April. The exact deadlines, the exact dates are, it begins on 22nd of April and ends on 25th of April. So that's a 4-day course.
Okay, and do you have to travel here to participate in it?
Yeah, everyone must be present, so participating online is unfortunately not possible.
Yeah, so it's good to keep in mind that if you get chosen for the second stage, it's it's so that you have to travel here to participate in
And
it.
if you already know that you won't be able to travel at that time, so then maybe
Yeah.
the person should consider applying next year maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe I'd like to add that the admission results will be published on 28th of May, and then applicants have until 10th of July to accept their study places. So that's in principle the admission schedule for next spring.
Yeah. What about the tuition fees, or is there any fee that you have to pay to apply to this school? Because I guess it has changed now from what it used to be.
Yeah, there will be an application fee next spring, which we haven't had before. And the application fee is charged from applicants who come from outside of EU or European Economic Area or who are not from Switzerland. The fee is paid to the Finnish National Agency for Education after submitting the application. So if the applicant who has to pay the fee hasn't paid the fee, the application won't be processed. And the exact amount of the fee is unfortunately not known yet, so the decision about that there will be a fee has been made really recently, and the amount has not been decided yet, but we will inform about the amount of the fee as soon as we know on our website in the admission guide.
Yeah. Many changes are
Yeah.
going on now. It's important to always keep track of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you ask about the tuition fee or?
Yeah. What's the tuition
Yeah.
fee? And because I know that there were also some changes to that during this year.
Yeah, pretty much everything else is as it used to be, although the amount of the fee has changed. So we charge tuition fees from all students who A, study in English, and B, are outside from the EU, EEA, and Switzerland. So every applicant or student who comes from outside of those places needs to pay. And the tuition fee will be 12,000 euros for every academic year. However, we offer a 50% tuition fee waiver for all first-year students. Just to get it, you just have to tick a box on the application form. And then from the first year or from the second year onwards, students can be also awarded tuition fee waivers. That's a 50% tuition fee waiver, and they are awarded based on the progression of the study and study performance.
Yeah. Thank you for such a detailed answers to these questions. It's really important to understand all the details, and I want to remind our audience that all of this information is available on the UniArts website. So if you didn't catch something, it's always good to use it as your guide. It's really all in one place, and you can see all of the answers there. And I also want to remind you that you can write your questions in the chat and we will answer to them. And now I want to ask all of you a question. What are your tips for students who will now prepare for the admissions? So in case of you, Fatih and Snowdrop, do you have any tips for making a portfolio? And for you, is there like a way to prepare for it, like well in advance, when to ask questions, when's the last moment to ask questions, and so on?
Well, I would say, I guess, start early. It's always good to start early. And if you have any questions, you can always email the admissions. They have a Gmail. I emailed them a lot when I was applying. Follow all of the rules. It's really good to follow all of the rules about how to, like, the number of pages in your portfolio, how to properly name documents and stuff. Really good to follow those. Make sure that you have, like what Auntie said, all the eligibility stuff, like your educational background and your language requirements. I suppose now you have to pay a fee, so make sure that the fee is paid, and be yourself. You know, just try to, when you're describing your artworks and showing your artworks, try to show what is what you feel represents you. Don't try to conform to what you think the image of the school is, because I think the school really, they want to accept people who are enthusiastic about making art, enthusiastic about being here. And as far as you follow the rules and you try to show that through your application, I think you have a really, really good chance of getting in.
That's impressive. I think I have a little bit different experience because like I didn't think that I can email anyone and ask questions. Yeah, because like I was reading the guide again and again. It's like, okay, this is done, this is done, this is done. But that's why you're telling there is a guide, and this is like a really good structure there, so you can just follow. So what was my strategy about building portfolio? I had quite a different range of works. So I was thinking about what works would represent my interest right now. Like for example, and where I want to go, like which works are maybe not relevant anymore. So yeah, and I think like the really good point here is like, as you said, Snowdrop, is follow the guides, follow the rules. Like, how do you name, how many words to present, like how many pictures and so on. So I think it's really very important. So yeah, and also I was thinking about to show different mediums. So what can I do? Maybe I work with ceramics, maybe I work with performances, maybe I work with something else. So yeah.
And also, don't be worried if you only work with one medium, that's all right. You don't have to be multimedia. It's not important.
Yeah, do what you do best.
Yeah.
It can be one dimensional, or it can be like different things.
Yeah, and when like I had this interview and I was saying that like the school is a really good chance to for me to find my medium and so on, so I will know what I'm doing. But I found out that I do all of the stuff really very different, and this is my strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before I answer that question, can I like confirm from you guys that at the beginning of the bachelor studies for the first half year, like there's sort of an introductory period where you get to work with all the different mediums?
Yeah, it's called mull.
Yeah.
It means mill in Finnish.
Yeah. And there is actually a question from our audience, basically just about that. So the question is, do you have to know your department when you apply? And yes, I'll
So,
let you.
as I said, I didn't know there are departments when I apply. So maybe you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to know. Yeah.
Yes, in my experience also, like sometimes it's good when you have a certain direction in a certain department or medium, but what I've noticed also throughout my study is that it changes, your artistic practice changes and shapes, and it's so that first when you get to the school there is a introduction period, Mylly, that was already mentioned, in which you kind of go through all of the departments, you get to know the teachers in each department, so you can really choose whichever department you want after that.
And you also talk to the students from those departments, so you kind of know the department, the facilities, the studios, how does it feel to be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of opens a lot. And also, I know a lot of students that change departments because, as you said, their artistic practices changed and their purposes changed. So yeah.
And I just want to add that, like, you can choose a department without working with the mediums in that department. Like, there are a lot of people who are in painting and they don't paint at all. They just enjoy, like, the critique and the analysis that they get from painting, and they enjoy, like, the teachers and the other students there. So you don't need to actually work with that medium to be in that department. No one is going to say, oh no, this is not the right department for you. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I think like maybe the only main advantage you may consider, so the courses. So when you belong to department. For example, I'm from sculpture department, so I will get more easily to those courses from the sculpture department. And then like students from time and space have priority to like get courses from time and space. So this is like the most important thing, I think.
And then we have another question from our audience. So we talked a little bit about portfolio and how to make it, but do you have any actual actual tips on how to structure it, for example, or what kind of works to put into the portfolio?
I think maybe as we mentioned, the structure is already written there. So you have a certain amount of works you should present and also the certain amount of pages. I think like for me, it was like no more than 2 photographs of one work, maybe no more than 5 works. Not sure already.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and everyone should check the admission guide because that's the reliable source, not me. But I think the requirement is at most 10 pages, at most 8 works, and at most 3 pictures per work.
Yeah.
I think it's like that.
Yeah, I think
And then in addition, if you work, for example, like video installations, you can add one video file or one sound file to supplement your portfolio. And the instructions for that file are as well in the admission guide.
Yeah, and I think like if you haven't ever built your portfolio, it would be nice to make it and show it to someone else, to your friends, and ask them what kind of impression it makes. Does it really represent what kind of artistic work you do? Like, and maybe you will receive some feedback, and yeah, already.
Yeah, that's a really good idea because I also got someone to proofread my portfolio. Also, really good to check your grammar too because you're going to be writing. You're going to have to describe if you want. You don't have to, but you could. And also, like I said earlier, just choose works that you feel represent you really well and that you like and you enjoy, and just put them out there.
I think it's really important to also mention that this Academy of Fine Arts, the studies here are really focused on your own artistic practice rather than specific courses that develop your basic skills as an artist, like meaning like drawing and stuff. So it's really more about your own artistic direction and to where you're planning to go to. So I think the tips that you gave, that it really has to kind of represent you as a person and as an artist at the moment, or the direction in which you're moving at the moment. I think it's really, you said it really well.
Yeah, I really think that to highlight at that moment and this moment, it might change. It
Yeah,
might
of
change a
course.
lot. So you don't have to be stick on that, what you put there and what you said there. But say whatever is like represents you right now.
Yeah. And now I would want to ask you, how was your experience of the admission exams? Both of you participated, and congratulations, you got in.
Thank you.
So how was it like? Were you nervous? Were you really confident? Do you have any tips for people who might get into this course?
I was really I was really nervous, but it's a nice time to be in Finland because it's just like the beginning of summer, so it's a really nice time if you've never been to Finland to like come. But I was already living in Finland by then, but just putting that out there. I was really nervous because you see like 50 people and they're kind of, the people you're meant to compete or kind of against. So it's really nerve-wracking, but everyone was really nice. The teachers are really nice because there are also some students helping during the admission course, and they're really nice. And also my fellow applicants were also really nice. I think that some tips about surviving it is, I think, don't see it as something that you have to make a definite finished work at the end. Yes, you do have to make a finished work, but the whole admission course is mostly about seeing how you work as an artist. What is your artistic stride? Because what actually happens, at least from what I heard, is that they come when you're not around to look at your table and just see how you've been working. And also while you're working, they come to talk to you a little. And of course, there is also the interview that happens where you get to talk about basically yourself as an artist. So mostly they are really interested in how you work as an artist. And I also think it's really good you have to be here typically, I think, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I think it's good to spend time here as much as possible. And if you're someone who makes, because I also, I film a lot, so I was filming outside a lot. So if you're someone who typically you don't make work at a table, it's good to like tell because they're always some students helping them, it's good to tell them, where you'll be, like, hey, I'm going to buy some materials, or hey, I'm going to film, I'll be back, because there's a sign, there's like an attendance they always sign. So I think it's really good to be here, and always good to arrive on the day that you're meant to arrive, like it's on a Monday. It's good to just follow the rules, be nice. Because I personally was like smiling at all of the teachers and waving at all of them anytime I see them. So maybe do that. You don't have to do that, but maybe, yeah. I think, yeah, just vibe. Just take it easily. It's gonna be fine. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really very hard to take it easy. I was thinking it's like one lifetime opportunity because
Yeah.
really I thought like you're in or you're out. But I know people tried several times. I was like, oh, you can do that? As I said, maybe I didn't make my research really very well at that point. I was super nervous. I was super, I don't know, it was intense for me. It was first time I visited Helsinki. Yeah, so I searched the academy. I came there, okay, this is the academy, this is the doors. I have to be on time, like be on time. This is like
Be on time.
essential, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very crucial. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, like the tips, just be there.
Be there. Yeah.
Just vibe. I like this.
Yeah, but to be honest, I did spend a lot of sleepless nights during the course, because like the time they give you is actually not enough to make like a proper finished artwork, because when you go home you're still going to be thinking about
Yeah.
it, and I didn't sleep for like 2 days at one point. So I don't know, after the admission course, give yourself like a good cup of chocolates. You earn it for surviving the course.
Well, maybe before, like in the word, you're here. This is so nice. Yeah, but maybe talking about works, like I was thinking a lot about what I'm gonna to do, and I tried to do completely different mediums, and like the works are not look like each other. I don't know if you have to still to make several works. We had to do 2 works at least. I think so. So yeah, I think it's good to keep in mind like what kind of works can I do, how they can be different.
Yeah, and also because at least I got 4 or 5 prompts, and you had to choose 2 prompts to make a work out of. I think 2 works were the minimum. You could do all of them. I think it's really good to do like because some people did like all of them, and I think that it's really good to mostly focus on the minimum, because then you can put more effort into it and can put more of your mind towards it, to making it really good. And when you have so many things you're working on within just a week, you kind of get scatterbrained, because then in the middle of the week they gave us a surprise prompt, and then basically had to make like 3 artworks. So it's kind of a lot. So it's good to kind of focus on things. Don't get distracted.
Yeah. I think it's important to mention that every year the admission exam is really different. So from year to year, the actual tasks that are given vary. And I don't know how it is now, but when I was applying, it used to be so that you can check the previous years. Of course, you will not know what is coming up for your year. Is it the same
Yeah,
now?
the questions from the previous times are available through, like there's a link in the admission guide that applicants can check. Used to check the questions. And maybe like, this is my first year working at the academy, and next spring it will be first time for me organizing also the admission course, and like my hope is that we can like organize a course where every applicant can be like the best version of themselves. So yeah, that's kind of my wish for the admission course,
Yeah,
or
that's
like
really
my
nice.
goal.
Yeah. And I think that usually these tasks are really open-ended, so they really or like not make you, but you have a lot of opportunities to show yourself as you are. It's not really defined into what you have to do. You just can really use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, it can be like one word.
Yeah, it can be a word. It can be anything. Because for, one prompt, some people did moving images, some people did performances, some people did printmaking, sculptures. So you don't have to worry about trying to fit some kind of image.
What did you said about one word? It's like about the prompt or
The artwork.
oh yeah, but
Could
because
be.
I was thinking like, wow, it's so strong. What kind of work could it be? Like, wow, it's a strong work there. Yeah, I combined themes, two themes in one work and two other in another work. So you can do whatever. Like, I don't think there is like right answer was like academy is looking for. No.
Yeah. Before we move on to another topic, I want to remind our audience to send your questions to the chat and we will reply to them. And also, once again, I want to mention that for all the practical information, when, how, you can check uniarts.fi website in all three languages, Finnish, Swedish, and English. And it will give you all the needed information. And now I want to move on a bit into what it's like to study here. And I want to start with a question. What is your typical day like here? Now, it's a bit different for both of you because you've just been through Mylly. Mylly is a really different period, I think, and you have been here for a while now. So yeah, what's your experience?
Well, a typical day for me, because we're kind of at the end of Muller now, so I would say right now they are introducing us to Anastasia mentioned how the school is mostly focused on developing your own artistic practice. So they're introducing us to that, how there's something called independent artistic work and how it's a main way that you can get credits to graduate on time. So right now we're kind of working on what we want to do, because before now we've been working on stuff that the departments have told us, have kind of like prompted us to work on. So we're working on what we want to do, and we are scheduling studio visits with some of our professors. It's when you invite a professor to talk about your work and both of you analyze it and they give you tips on how to further develop it. So we're kind of learning about how that works and kind of practicing it in a way for the first years. Yeah.
Yeah, I built my studies the way first year, second year, I decided to make all the mandatory courses that I can leave the third year for more artistic practices. So now I have kind of more open schedule because of that. But for example, November was very tight and tough, and I was working like from the morning till the late evening. So, but actually, it is so that you're responsible for your own schedule. And sometimes we have a seminar and you have to be here at 9:30. Sometimes you don't have to, and then you decide to work until really late. Yeah.
And there is a question from our audience related to that, and it is the curriculum really rigid, or can you build your own study path?
Yeah, I think for Mole, it's scheduled really very
But
well.
that's only this like autumn semester. But after that, from your second semester, first year onwards, it's not rigid. There are like some mandatory courses that you have to do in order to graduate, but they're just, you can spread them out across the years, or you can do them within your first and second year, yeah, like Fatih did. But overall, like it's just maybe 5 mandatory courses, and then you can just do whatever you want. Because, like, for example, I'm taking some courses next year from Sibelius. Sibelius is the music academy that we are attached to. So you can do that. You can also take courses from THEAC or from even other universities, because that's also something I'm looking into doing, taking some geology courses from maybe University of Helsinki. So it's really free. And also you can get credits for doing your own work, like if you have a YouTube channel or if you do anything that's related to your artistic practice, you can log in those hours as going towards credits.
Yeah, you don't have to like be at school like
some people haven't
every
seen them in a
day.
while.
Yeah, it could be really very different.
Yeah.
But I think like this is also a thing you have to figure out, how will your schedule look like. Yeah.
And you can get help with that from the
Yeah.
study advisors and from your teacher that's in charge of your department. So you can have a meeting to talk about how you can schedule stuff to graduate on time.
Yeah, because sometimes you can really feel lost, but there is some help out there, so you're not alone. So someone from administration, you will go through this. Like, are you on a good way with your studies? Like, what courses do you have to do?
Yeah, you like make or compile your like what is it called, like a study plan.
Yeah, study plan.
And we also have like a study path that has like a recommended order in which to complete the mandatory studies. But as you said, there's a lot of freedom in the degree.
I'm using the recommended study plan thing. It's like a PDF. I'm using it to.
Do you find it useful?
Yeah, it's very useful.
I have a paper that cross out like I will do it like in this year, and like I already done it. Like okay, going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We only have a couple minutes left before the end of this event. So
I have
yes.
like something to talk about. Like we haven't talked about actual interview. Maybe it's important like that during the admissions, but we also
course.
have this short interview.
Yeah.
Because like it was quite intense for me. I was so nervous, and like it only takes 10 minutes. Yeah, and I have some tips for that. Like of course it's written like to run no questions you have to prepare, but I was thinking like what kind of question they can ask me, and I was like doing the questions in my head and then like preparing some answers there. So for myself maybe it could be useful, because I really knew that I can be lost and super nervous at that moment. Yeah, which is also okay, because like I started to talk during my interview and I understood that I cannot breathe. And then I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. And then like people say, oh, it's super okay and so on. Because it was a surprise for me that there was so many people around me, around 10. I don't know, maybe I felt it that way. But there were quite a lot of people.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, for the interview, of course, it's very normal to be nervous, and I think that the professors and the interviewers, they understand that. They're totally fine with you being nervous. I think just answer truthfully. Like, they mostly again want to know about you as an artist right now, so you can just answer about whatever, and at least for me, they asked me about a specific work. So be prepared to be able to talk about your works. Hopefully you can, because you made them. So yeah, just be yourself. Yeah.
Like you don't have to prepare for it like in any way. You just have to talk about yourself.
And it's fine to say I'm nervous. Yeah. Fatih said.
Yeah, in my experience, like the teachers here and the examiners, they're really understanding, and they understand that you're nervous. It's like, it's quite a big event. You're especially already at that stage when you're kind of like, I'm already through the first admission step, but not yet like admitted. It's really nerve-wracking, but usually people are really understanding and yeah, and really chill. I really appreciate it here. And I want to remind everyone about the admission guides on the UniArts website, and that you can ask questions from the admission office. Could you remind the email?
Yeah, I was just hoping you would ask that. So the address is kuva.admissions@uniarts.fi. So that is kuva.admissions@uniarts.fi. And if someone doesn't remember that, the address is, for example, at the end of the admission guide. So just scroll down, and the last thing is this magical email address.
Yeah. And then if you have any questions about student life here, you can send questions to us, student ambassadors. We are here to answer questions about what it's like to study here, and more about how it is like in Finland, what it's like to be a student in Kuva. So there is also an email on UniArts webpage. If I remember correctly, it's kuva dot student ambassadors .fi, but it will be linked.
Yeah, and applicants can also send questions, for example, to the admissions office email address, and we will just forward them to
exactly.
you.
Yeah. So it's kuva.student.ambassadors@uniarts.fi. So if we can still discuss a bit more, I want to ask you, what was it like for you to move to Finland and Helsinki? How is your life here? Is it cold?
I moved to Finland. I started studying in Kuva in August of this year, but I moved to Finland last year September because I was studying somewhere else. So and I was living in another city. So concerning living in Finland, I would say my life here is nice. Finnish people, they are introverted, but they are very nice, and they if you're ever lost or you have any questions in the grocery store, as far as you just say, excuse me, I don't speak Finnish, could you help me? They're very helpful, and students are also really nice. And then in Helsinki was definitely bigger than the other city I was living in, but compared to a lot of cities around the world, it's very small. So it's kind of like a big city life, but in a small city. People are, it still kind of has this very much country vibe in a way, and you can kind of know everywhere in Helsinki within like a month. And there are a lot of galleries, a lot of art events always happening, and because of it being a small city, you can kind of network easily, because networking is good. You can kind of network easily with other artists, and you can get to know a lot of like the art scene in Helsinki. And it's also quite affordable because there's like student housing, and you get student discounts for stuff like the metro and the tram and the bus and stuff. So yeah, and the school is in a really nice central part of Helsinki. So I think it's really good. It's close to an artsy neighborhood called Kallio, very artsy. So I think it's all right. Yeah.
What about me? I really like to live here. Originally, I'm from Moscow, so you can imagine it's quite a big city. So Helsinki for me, it's quite small, but this is exactly what I like in here. And also, I moved here with my family, with my husband and my daughter. So I think like family life is really very nice and calm here. And when I travel, for example, to Stockholm, Berlin, or Paris, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be back in Helsinki. There is so much space around. It's not hectic at all. And like, and I think like it's quite secure here for me. Like when I like come from Paris, like I'm taking my bag like this and like relax.
Yeah, it's very safe. You don't have to worry about getting mugged or anything happening. It's very, very safe. But of course, it is cold. I'm from Nigeria, so it's super cold. You have to be ready for that. You can't hide from it. But I think it's always good to look at it from like experiencing new things, you know, because where I'm from, there's no snow. Right now, there's snow outside. When there's snow, it's magical. When the leaves turn, it's magical. And the summer here is very magical. It's kind of like the sun makes you feel like, because it's just 24/7. It's very, you just can't sleep at all. And you're just like, woo. So I think just it's really interesting being here. I think it can be really inspiring for your artistic process, especially if you're from somewhere that's totally different from Finland, because it's very, and there's so much nature too. It's a city, but you can access so much nature, and there's lots of ocean. There's an ocean. Yeah, it's an ocean.
Yeah.
It's a sea.
See?
Yeah.
Well, see.
There's lots of sea. You can have a classmate who's always swimming in the sea, and
During winter.
yeah, she's crazy. She's always swimming in the sea.
I'm looking forward for that, actually.
And you can go to the islands. There's a really lovely UNESCO heritage site called Suomenlinna. It's so beautiful. You have to go. There's so many islands and stuff. So there's lots to see, and it's all quite cheap. Compared to a lot of bigger cities in Europe, it's quite cheap.
Yeah. Thank you so much. If we don't have any more questions from the audience, we will start wrapping up. It was really nice to chat with all of you. Yes, I want to mention once again that please check UniArt's website for all the practical information about applying. Please send an email to the admissions office or to Kuva Student Ambassador's email. Then remember that the admission period is between 8th to 22nd of January, and there is a certain deadline to submit until when you can submit the portfolio and all the necessary documents. And it's always 3 p.m. Finnish time, Helsinki time. Yes, so thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
This was
Thank
lovely.
you.
Yeah, kiitos.
Kiitos.
And see you here.
See you hopefully here.
Yeah, hope to see you apply.